Welcome to Brit Wrestling Fan Podcast. My name is Andy. I am your host, and I am joined today by my friends from the stateside Pantera. Welcome, mate. How are you doing?
Hey, good. How are you? Thanks for having me on. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you reaching out to me and letting you know you want some insight.
No, mate, really, really good. As I say, the whole reason I started this podcast was to make friends and reach out to different people, and it's always good to get a totally different perspective, from the difference between us Brits and the Americans and stuff. Where can we find you on social media, mate?
So Facebook, Pantera Stevens. And also you could find me as La Parca Reina. Kind of play on words of that nice 90s dance. But La Parca Reina. And the handle I need to get, I believe it's D4 underscore. I'll find it and I'll show you guys later. And I'm sure I'll send the link out to you.
Right, and if you look below the names now, guys, you'll see Twitter handles for me and Pantera as well. So, and I'll also put the links in the description so you can follow us on social media. Always dead active on social media. I'm never off it, so always come over and say hi to us and stuff on there. Okay, mate. So all we're going to do is a review of the weekly wrestling shows, news, stuff like that, and just kind of get views from yourself. I'll have a little chat, and we just kind of shoot the wind with it. You know what I mean? I think so. Episode 1 of this one, I'm going to title it Allied Forces, Allied Powers, shall we say? So yeah, mate. So we'll start off obviously Raw. Hit the show here. Started off with Nikki coming out with her, kind of superhero way. I won the title. Not too bad, to be honest with you. I didn't mind that. Then Charlotte come back out again, as we always knew that she was going to come out, and basically said it was a disgrace that she won the title, and that she didn't deserve to have it, and that she didn't have the star power necessary to be a champ. Then Rhea Ripley come down and popped her nose in to create a triple threat for the title at SummerSlam, which was made by Sonya Deville and Adam Pearce. And then they also made a championships contenders match, which I've never heard of before, but it seems to be a common theme of this show, for Charlotte versus Nikki tonight. What did you think of the opening segment, mate?
Yeah, it's rinse, wash, repeat. It's copy paste, which isn't bad, because it's an element that always has fans, especially now that they're back. It has an element of interest and intrigue. I do like that. I think the Nikki Ash character is just really funny. I mean, even in the Ruthless Aggression, we do remember how Rosie and Hurricane and even Stacy Keibler, that people forget that she was in there. Um, it was just something that really was over. And I'm telling you, even if you got younger fans, it was hot. I mean, the superhero in training, the acronym right there. It was like everybody back then. When Hurricane would come out and do that pose, I mean, even today, he still gets that pop. Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. You had the right elements there with the monkey wrench known as Nikki Ash. So, this is typical.
Yeah. So I'm the same, I think Nikki, she reaches out to that young demographic. At the end of the day, I know all us older fans are craving the attitude era, but it's not going to happen. It's gone. And but one thing I will say about the whole WWE at the moment is they do seem to be trying to cater for everyone. A bit like Disney in a way, it's kind of everything under one space. So yeah, I thought that it was really good. I like Nikki. Don't quite get where they're building with it, as we'll discuss when we get to the match. But I do feel like there's something going to happen here where, they're trying to tell a story, which I'm all for because WWE is so quick to drop things and not finish things and stuff. So I just hope that they do see this one through. I've seen a lot of heat on social media, and I see it all the time for Charlotte, saying, "Oh, she doesn't deserve this." Well, for all the heat and people saying, "I hate Charlotte," that is her job. That's what she's there to do. So the fact that she's doing that, she's doing exactly what she's meant to. Rhea, I don't really know what she is in this match. I feel like her title runs I didn't think was great, and I don't think that's been the case with this either. I feel like she's kind of got lost in the shuffle, and I don't really see the only way I can see that her being in that match is for Nikki to retain and for Charlotte not to take the pin. That's kind of what I see her in that match for, is to be the one there to take the pin. whether that's off Nikki or whether that's off Charlotte. You know, there's two ways that could go. One, Nikki wins it, Charlotte, you didn't pin me, we go on from there. Or two, Charlotte wins it and Nikki goes after it and kind of tries to, you know, become a superhero, win the title back, and finally become, instead of almost a superhero, she then becomes that superhero. Okay, so
It's kind of like Dragon Ball Z. They actually have to evolve, right? Or
yeah,
yeah. So, which makes
yeah,
sense wrestling wise, not in real
yeah,
life.
and that's one thing that I kind of didn't get where they put it on the belt on her so fast, because I felt like there was a story to be told there where she carried the belt for a while, the briefcase for a while, and you know went from that almost a superhero, and then when she cashes in, she becomes the superhero. But I'm intrigued to see where the story goes, and that's what it's all about, really, isn't it? Is to kind of get that story and build it up. So the fact that we're getting that, it's got me intrigued, and you know I'm willing to see where we go from that. So next one we went to after that was Damian Priest versus Sheamus, which was a non-title match, which seems to be the thing with Sheamus at the moment, and I'm not mad at that. You know, really good match for me. You know, I like the way the fact that they played into Sheamus's broken nose that happens in real life as well, and for me, the fact that Damian Priest won this match at the end was the right result for me, and I feel like that's going to build into a really good feud. And I feel like Damian got a bit lost in the shuffle after the whole Bad Bunny thing, and the fact that you know he was kept, they just kept him with the Miz for so long when they didn't have to, and I feel like now we're starting to see that next chapter for Damian Priest.
I think with it's now the trickle down. It's after, I'm not gonna say after the pandemic, but when the pandemic hit, who did they give the ball to help them carry through? And they gave it to Randy Orton. And look at the program he had with Drew, and look at the story that he told with Drew. I think that they needed people that they knew that they could rely on. Now, towards the end, you finally had people in the stands for WrestleMania. All right, you give the title to Sheamus, okay, because they know that that guy's going to go to work and he's going to continue to kick ass. That's how good he is. And it's somebody, I don't know if Priest definitely deserves a title. The guy looks like $1 million, which is nothing now, but he's awesome. Okay, and you're working a program with the guy who's an absolute pro. I think Sheamus has got to be there, 12 years now, right? I would think maybe actually more, maybe 13 years, I think.
Oh,
And
I'm the rest, I think.
yeah, I think he's been around for that long. And they went with studs. They went with people that they knew that they could, go through a whole pandemic with, And you had Charlotte, like we were saying before. Charlotte's another one who gets heat, but she's a known worker, So, do I think that they're probably going to take the title off Sheamus? Yeah, especially with one of the, I still call them Big Fours, one of the Big Fours coming up. With SummerSlam around the corner,
Yeah.
I mean, Reese deserves something because has he been there a long time? No, but I think that's one of Vince's guys.
Mm. Yeah, I feel like he done well with the Bad Bunny story as well, and he kind of helped carry that situation and done it really, really well.
That was fun too. I didn't know who
Mm.
Bad Bunny was, and I wasn't like, "Who is this guy?" Because
Yeah,
We've seen Burt Reynolds coming in and introduce people at WrestleMania in the past, and people. Do you get and over in Liverpool? Do people even care about Burt Reynolds?
yeah,
So there you go. But the guy could even say he upgraded everybody and said, "This is the hardest thing I ever had to do," and he loves the business.
mm.
So Bad Bunny is okay in my book, and Damian Priest helping him out, hell, that was
Yeah.
great.
And I feel like in this feud as well, as even if he doesn't win the title, I still feel like he comes out of this in a better state than what he'll go into it. Whether he wins or not, I feel like he'll learn a lot from Sheamus, and also he'll come out with his head held high, whichever way it goes, if it's done correctly.
Yeah,
Okay, so we'll move on now to AJ Styles Omos versus the Viking Raiders. For me, it's not a great match. I thought it was okay. We've seen it a couple of times now, and you know, I feel like all we're doing is waiting for the Arcade Bro storyline to start with them two, which obviously, as we'll go on to, it did. So solid enough match. Don't think it's really that bad. You know, AJ and Omos got the win. It keeps them going, obviously, till Randy comes back or whatever else happens there. And hopefully we're off to the races with the RK Bro versus AJ and Omos for WrestleMania for SummerSlam.
Yeah, I think I'm excited to actually watch Omos learn how to wrestle. That'll be fun whenever he gets a chance to.
Yeah. I feel like he's in the same kind of bracket as Braun Strowman, where because he kind of fits the whole profile of Vince McMahon's big, strong, tall guy, that they just get rushed to the main roster far too quickly, and it doesn't always, pick up where it needs to.
I like that WrestleMania when he was like reaching for a tag like this and it was kind of awkward looking, and he was like nowhere near like anything, like his feet, his footing. It's over time you learn that. So, but
That's it. But
yeah,
as we say, it done what it needed to do. It got us to, past that one. Got us another week of AJ and Omos on TV. Keeps them relevant where they need to be, being champions. And as we found out later on when we discuss it, we come back out, don't we? And I think we're off to the races on that one.
sure.
So next one after that was Via versus Drew McIntyre. Obviously we're just straightforward match. Does something. I suppose it's a bit like the AJ Omos and the Viking Raiders in a way. Is it furthers a bit of a storyline. It gets them on the show, gets the fan happy to see Drew, keeps him quite relevant, and keeps building for him in Jinder. I feel really sorry for Drew because of the fact that he hasn't had his crowd moment yet. But I feel like because we got him forced down on, well, I wouldn't even say forced down our necks over the Thunderdome era, but he was there as a constant, wasn't he? And he carried, and I feel like they're doing the right thing by pulling him back before they release him back into the title type kind of picture.
Right. Okay. But they did it in such a bad way because, like, you
Mm,
remember they had Legends Night, and there he
mm,
is cutting a Hogan promo with Hulk Hogan. You why first of all, why on a Legends Night? Like your ratings are bad, so you throw them out there, but you know that this is like a valley, and it's gonna
mm.
peak when you get crowds back in there. Could you imagine? I mean, say what you want about Hogan, he's got the golden touch when to fans like younger fans now. You could have waited for that.
Yeah. As I say, it done what it done. I don't think we're ready to go into detail on that one. Obviously, we're going to get Drew versus Jinder at SummerSlam. I'm looking forward to that match. I feel like it'll be a good match. I like the two of them as much as I know people don't rate Jinder Mahal. I think he's a good worker, and I think he's a hard worker, which is more important. So I feel like it's a good feud, and it's a good feud for Drew at the moment to kind of keep him busy in the middle of the cards because we all know he's going to eventually get his moment, isn't he? And this just keeps him where he needs to be. Next up, we had Eva Marie and Drew Drop versus Natalia and Tamia. Um, Obviously, non-title match, which we always seem to be getting on everything recently. As soon as Natalia locked up with Eva, she tagged out to Drop. Obviously, Eva Marie can't work, so she's got Drop there for her. Drop, really good worker, very good worker. Don't like the name, but think we thingy. Um, and then we had the end of the match, and obviously through Alexa Bliss popping up again, which I am going to call it now. I don't know if it's going to happen right now because I feel like plans have got to change because I don't know whether you're aware, but Natalia injured herself real bad in this match. She's just had surgery, so how long she's out for, we don't know. How they're going to get the belts, they probably have to strip them or whatever. I don't know how that's going to work, but I am calling it now. There will be a time very shortly when Alexa Bliss and Bloody Lily are champions. I'm telling you now, it's gonna happen, mate. It's
Yeah,
gonna happen.
yeah. Or if you know what happens, if she said that I disavowed Bray's spirit and now it's in Lily, and then Bray
Yeah.
does, and then fake Bray ends up going into Lily. I can see that. Remember, Al Snow
Yeah.
teamed with Head one time.
Yeah, it happens, didn't it? Who was the other one? Perry Saturn and Moppy.
And the wood chipper.
So next one we had was Keith Lee and Karrion Kross. Don't understand why they've put these two together. Don't understand why Keith Lee had to take the loss. Not a bad match as you'd expect from these two, both good workers. Obviously, Carrion lost last week. Don't understand that to Jeff Hardy. I'd assume that they were probably going to do Jeff Hardy versus Carrion again. But the fact that obviously Jeff Hardy was missing through testing positive for COVID, he had to do a bit of a swerve. But considering what you've got in the locker room and you know what they could have done, I don't get why they've done with Keith Lee. There's something going on with him at the moment, whether it's politics or whatever else. But he just seems to be getting absolutely buried, and I am not too happy about that.
I think it's, I don't want to speculate, but I do believe it's copywriting reasons. I don't know on what, but
It's his name, apparently.
yeah. So I can understand that, but it's Keith Lee. It's not like Big Daddy Cool Diesel, where, you know, he's been around. I loved him in NXT. It was just this brute, but like why do you have to copyright that right now? Like when you establish yourself, I don't know what the inner workings are, but to me, I don't know. But
But why
they're
could you copyright someone's name anyway? You know, with someone, well, you know, I'm sure yourself the same as me. If somebody come over to me and said, "I'm copywriting your actual name," I'd be like, "No, you're not. No, that's my name."
right. But what was he prior? Because I do believe he was in Evolve. I think he was in Evolve Wrestling. He might have been Keith Lee too, but I think Evolve actually has a close affiliation with NXT.
Yeah, but
And
his actual birth name is Keith Lee. I've just confirmed
okay.
that now. I've just checked that now.
Okay.
So yeah,
But to me, it's like, all right, if it's for merchandising reasons, I kind of understand it, but you know, you have to establish yourself a little bit more. You know, and
mm,
he was getting big pops. What was it? The 2020 Royal Rumble. He came out against Lesnar,
mm,
and
yeah.
Lesnar like, whoa, look at this guy, and the crowd loved it. He was on his way, man. I know that he was hurt too, but
Yeah.
you said it. Putting these two together does nobody justice.
No, and obviously, you know, Carrion just looks so out of water without, you know, his missus Scarlett, and also without the entrance that he normally has. He just looks very average on the main roster, which, you know, we've seen before, but hopefully they change that and they get it right, because I really like Carrion Cross and I think he can do good things. And whatever is going on with Keith Lee, I either hope they, one, release him and let him go his own way and do his own thing, or two, work it out. But, you know, I feel like for WWE, why are you trying to copyright somebody's birth name? Come on. You know, I understand the lads, you wouldn't be happy with that, but it is what it is, I suppose. Anyway, on to our next one. We've got Mason T-Bar versus Mansoor and Mustafa Ali. Good little match. Obviously, Mansoor got the pin with a victory roll. Mason T-Bar haven't been anything since the Retribution. I feel like they didn't really mention Retribution much in this match, which I felt like they should have, with Ali obviously being the leader of it at one point. But I
Yeah.
think this is a good pairing, a good pairing for the two of them. You know, I feel like we're always needing more tag teams. I feel like people just get thrown together, where these two actually seem to fit well together, and I feel like they can build to be a good tag team.
If you move your head quickly, they blur into one person sometimes because they do look similar. I'm not even gonna lie, but
Mm.
actually, Mustafa has this more sinister smile. I like that, and that's why he was a leader of Retribution. I do think it's very convenient that I did hear about the Saudi Arabia tour
Mm.
coming up again. And wouldn't you like to see those two as built up as they're going to be? Because, you know, you kind of fed them a job team. But now, couldn't you see them in Saudi facing AJ and Omos?
Winning the titles, or I don't know. I don't know where we'd be up to at that point, because that's not till October, is it? So, you know, but if they're going to build them by then, good slow build. I like that. I don't like the quick throw them together, get them on, and let's do it. Build them
Hmm.
up slowly. Let them build up and, you know, win some matches and get into a little feud or two and just build it nicely. And then, you know, you could come elevated, as you say, in the Saudi show in October with them winning the belts and the crowd go wild and everyone's happy, and, you know, not mad at that at all.
Yeah.
But again, you know, obviously we've got a lot of show to fill on. on Raw. So, it is what it is. 3 hours, it's got to be to Bob. So next one we had Bobby Lashley versus his former hair business partners in Cedric Alexander and Shelton Benjamin. Done Lashley the world of good. Didn't think it done anything for Shelton or Cedric. Don't really see where they're going at the moment. But as we've seen with Bobby himself, when he kind of turns into this monster and won the belt and what the hair business is, things can change pretty quickly in WWE. So hopefully, fingers crossed, them two get something because they're really both good workers, as Shelton especially. I feel like the two of them are brilliant in the fact that one's more towards the end of his career, but he's a brilliant worker. And then you've got Cedric, who's kind of starting out and is a good worker. So there's two really good workers on both ends of the scale there that probably deserve more than what they're getting at the moment. But I think at the same time, you've got to look at it and say, well, we're moaning saying the good workers. Well, you need good workers to make Bobby Lashley look like the monster. So at the same time, it works, and it did work.
Yeah, it's like it's actually if Shelton ate Cedric, you might get Bobby Lashley. So it's kind of interesting,
Yeah.
as size wise goes. But yeah, I don't know. It doesn't do them any favors. Bobby's always going to look like a beast anyway. I think it's strong. Um, MVP was there, right? Yeah,
Yeah.
he's fucking around. Yeah, he's just been brilliant ever since they brought him back a couple years ago, just for that one-off, and then he's just a natural mic talker. I remember what was it Royal Rumble 2008? They opened up with MVP versus Ric Flair, and during Flair's like retirement angle thing, and I'm telling you, like he got heat. The guy gets heat, and he just is a tremendous worker in every aspect. So, and all he does is give clout to Lashley.
Yeah. Of course. And I like the way that Lashley used the jackhammer on the Alexander as well, which I thought was really, really good. But yeah, no, you bob on with MVP. I feel like he's come in, he was brought in more for a one shot and gone, wasn't he? And then he kind of started getting him at the back end of it as well. Sorry, in the behind the scene role, doing a bit of producing, and obviously he's produced the goods with Bobby Lashley, and brilliant, brilliant work. Really, really good stuff. And I feel like he's kind of like that Heyman role, but without being Paul Heyman. Because I always feel like sometimes Paul Heyman, there's only one Paul Heyman. But at the moment, I look at him and MVP, and I kind of see them as two separate but two similar as well. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Obviously, Paul's Paul, but I feel like MVP does MVP good as a good manager, but you're always going to compare people as a manager when they're managing a monster to Paul Heyman. Right. So next match we go on to my favorite guy, Riddle, versus John Morrison, or Johnny Drip Drip as he likes to be called now. Obviously, I think this is I don't really obviously want to try and keep this as PG as possible, but Johnny Drip Drip and your squirting the kids and stuff is not the best of things to be doing.
no,
Um,
no,
but at the same time, let's face it, WWE are going to get them manufactured at about 20 cents a pop and probably sell them for $20 a pop on the tripsticks on tours. So, that's why they're going to push it as much as possible because it's a quick buck for them to make, isn't it?
I think that they should come out with the Super Soaker. I mean, the Super Soakers themselves have to come back, and
Yeah,
can't you see Miz and Morrison both on one on each side? I mean, that would
yeah,
work out well.
yeah. Okay, so good little match. I think Johnny Morrison, I'm not going to call him Drip Drip again, always has really good matches, really, really strong wrestler, isn't he? Really good worker. And Riddle is a very good worker. I feel like we're building with Riddle, we're constantly building, and one time his MMA background's going to be brought into it, and he's going to turn into a bit of a badass, but, he was kind of happy and stuff, but snaps in the ring and kind of, so I think there's a big story coming on there, and the fact that they put them with Randy Orton speaks volumes.
Yeah,
Obviously, Morrison won the match because of interference from AJ and Omos. Um, Omos broke his scooter over his knee, which was it is what it is. But as much as I didn't like that, and I kind of thought it was, I liked the way Styles come in and attacked him at the end. And as far as I'm concerned now, what RK Bro versus AJ and Omos is off to the races, and I'm made up about that.
Yep. Yeah. I mean, you want to see AJ out there against Randy, and you want to see AJ against Riddle. Think about that. And almost could just watch popcorn and be intimidating and cast a shadow.
Okay, so that's the end of Raw, mate. Good show for me, solid show. Wasn't too happy with these whole contender matches and stuff that they're doing on it. And I feel like some of the matches, the likes of Cedric Alexander and the Shelton Benjamin versus Bobby Lashley we've seen before. We've seen Viking Raiders AJ before. We've seen that in the last pay-per-view, I believe, as well. So, I just feel like sometimes they could go a little bit different and kind of, it always seems to be, is this new number one contenders thing against the champion seems to be a thing at the moment.
I think it
Sorry,
makes
that wasn't the
sense.
end of Raw. I do apologise. We still got the Nikki match, obviously, which we'll get soon on. But yeah, as I say, the whole show for me was, I'd probably say, a 2 out of 5. I'd probably give it. I don't think it was anything spectacular. I don't think it was really bad, but because of these kind of championship contenders matches, I don't like them. I feel like they should keep the champion apart from the contender until they and make the match feel like something and build it up to the pay-per-view match. One shot, done. None of this bloody repeating it every 2 minutes, like as I say with AJ and the Viking Raiders and Charlotte. With having, Charlotte's going to face Nikki at SummerSlam. Why do we need to watch it now?
But this is how wrestling is now. I've noticed that now AEW has qualifiers, and you have to fit. I saw it was several weeks in a row. The Young Bucks face so and so. If they win, then the Young Bucks will put the title on the line. Why does this constantly have to happen now? I think it's just like you're not building anticipation. There's
No,
no anticipation because like there's nothing to build
no.
to.
Yeah.
The problem is you have writers instead of bookers. You know,
This is the thing, isn't it? Yeah, yeah. I feel like you need to kind of have a bit of both, don't they? I think the always thing that he said is about Vince Russo back in the day was Vince Russo was so good in WWE because he was a very talented writer, which no one takes away from him. But he did have Vince McMahon behind him, steering him in the right way. I feel like that kind of, you know, relationship and team we haven't got at the moment. I think, as you say, we've got writers and that, we haven't kind of, and Vince obviously at the moment I don't feel like he's kind of getting on a bit and he's losing a bit of touch, which is sad to see. But I just feel like we need to get some old wrestlers in there as bookers rather than agents. Let them book matches with the creative team and do that together. Okay, so we go on to the main event. Sorry, we did miss that out, but there's no way we can miss it out because it was so Nikki ASH versus Charlotte, and Charlotte beat her clean. Which, to be honest, I'm not that bothered about. If it happens, it happens. It is what it is. There obviously must be a story behind it. But the one thing that I didn't like after it, and I didn't like it, but it's making me very, very intrigued, is the fact that I almost beat her. I almost done it. It's like, you're the champion. You've already beat her. And it's kind of
yeah,
like, where's this leading to?
yeah. It's like it's giving a kid dessert, and then it's like, hey, try. Why don't you try out the regular meal? Why don't you try out your steak? And then they just put it in their mouth and put it away. They go, I almost had it, but at least I got my dessert. Everything's in reverse. Everything's in
Yeah.
reverse.
And as I say, it was what it was. It's done the job. I know I keep saying it was what it was, but I think Raw as a whole at the moment is it was what it was. But I'm annoyed, but I'm intrigued to see which way they go with this, and I'm just hoping that they're gonna prove me right. And it's gonna be a really good story, and we're gonna get to somewhere in the end with it, rather than just kind of, oh, don't do this again, just for the sake of it. But anyway, I think we've had enough of Raw. I feel like we kind of we got where it needed to be. It is what it is, and that's it. Do you know what I mean? It's Raw is
Yeah,
another week of it is what it is, and really sad. Okay, so
yeah,
we're going to move on to Dynamite. For me, really good show this week. We'll start off with the 10-man elimination. The Elite, Kenny Omega, Young Bucks, Doc Gallows, and Carl Anderson versus Hangman Page and the Dark Order. Before we even got to this match, I thought the entrances were awesome. The Dark Orders was great, and somebody pointed it out to me online, and it was really, really nice. And
I think the mic just cut out.
Oh, right. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
What did you say about the
Sorry about
during
that.
the
So,
entrance?
yeah, the entrances, I thought the entrances was really good. And the Dark Order, when they turn around and they all come out and they had the spotlights on them. Somebody pointed out to me online, if you look to the right-hand side, there was a spotlight with no one there that they put on for Brody Lee.
Yeah, I read that afterwards. I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah, I thought that was a nice touch. And then WWE, go back and watch the entrance of the Elite, and that is how you do product placement. Do you know what I mean? Obviously, it was all product placement designed for the Space Jam movie that's just come out, which was confirmed online by Meltzer and stuff. So instead of getting zombies to come into a match and eat somebody, do
You didn't like
something.
that? You didn't like that? You didn't like that?
But I get where they get paid for stuff, but be more look like that. They're perfect. It was a brilliant entrance. It was fun. I enjoyed watching it. They could have done something like Michael Jackson's Thriller or something, couldn't they, for their WWE one? I don't really want to go too much to WWE because I don't like to compare the two totally different shows. But as I say, really, really good entrance. Match I thought was awesome. I thought it was really played out well. Everybody, including myself, was convinced Hangman was going to win. But at the end of the match, it was 3-on-1, and Kenny Omega hit the winged eagle for the victory. Winged angel, sorry.
I'm gonna have to say this. You have two polar opposite ends of product placement in this show. One during this match and one later on we'll get to. But I will say this. What I didn't understand is Adam Page disowned the Dark Order months and months ago. Why is he just allowing them to come in and do these? The entrance was cool. I have my own opinions about Omega and the Young Bucks. They always have to be first so they could get all their shit in. And they need to show people we could do it so everybody else could copy. But let's face it, everybody's going to do a tope suicida. I didn't like the basketball spot. The Good Brothers don't add anything to any match.
No.
I never asked them. I love Paige. I think he's just awesome. I think we need more wrestlers with the rhyming of AGE afterwards. But no, I think it was kind of, you knew where it was going to go. But the problem is that now they're signing all these people, and you're going to have CM Punk involved now. So it's like, all right, let's just sweep Adam Page to the side.
Well, I believe I heard online that he hasn't signed an extension to his contract, which is one of the reasons why they're pulling him from the main event scene.
That's the most consistent thing they have there. Because what they'll tell you is that it's long-term booking. Like he's just ever so close. Long-term booking. How come like you have the Young Bucks that are sitting there that are like, okay, maybe you'll get a title shot if you beat us. They think long-term booking is constantly separating themselves from a situation. I don't like that. Somebody sent me a screenshot of Paige with the belt laying at Omega's face a couple of years ago, and then it happened a couple of weeks ago again where they what was it, 3 times in a row, 3 weeks in a row, the Dark Order have to come out there, and Evil Uno has to cut a terrible promo because he's not good. He's quite nimble on his feet. I'll give him that. But I just think that spot by Stu Grayson, who was reckless. These guys, Tony Khan needs a performance center. These guys need to practice. I don't care how many bingo halls they wrestle at.
I don't know whether you've seen the video online of one of that. can't remember the name of who it was on Dark Elevation, and he tried to do like a 360 spot, and he just bombed it bad. And I was thinking exactly the same as you. I was thinking, oh my God, you know, these guys need proper training to be able to do this. But one thing that's going to be interesting when Punk and Brian do come in and potentially now Bray Wyatt is how Tony Khan's going to manage them egos, because I think Tony Khan's kind of not screwed himself, but he hasn't done himself any favours by putting Omega and stuff as vice presidents and things like that, because obviously they have a say in the booking and stuff like that. But if you've got Daniel Bryan and CM Punk coming in, they're not going to stand there and take that off them. They're going to be like, hang on, you know, we've dealt with Khan here. We've come in because of Khan, not because of you. So excuse me, but do you know what I mean? So it'll be interesting how you manage them egos. Don't think Daniel Bryan will have that much of an ego, but I think Punk, you know, be quite hard to manage in my eyes.
But here's the other thing too. I think Daniel Bryan has earned every say that he has.
Mm.
You know, he's a guy that's instant game changer. Whenever
Yeah.
I have tickets for the Stadium Bash, the tennis stadium show on the 22nd of September. They say he might show up then. I have a feeling maybe prior, because I know that TNT doesn't want any surprises anymore,
Yeah.
which makes sense.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I just think Omega is just sniffing his own jar of farts, and he thinks it's he's that everybody else likes his brand, and he's
Yeah.
terrible.
So I don't
Yeah,
mind sometimes, but I'm not like the I'm not Dave Meltzer big, like, you know, Dave Meltzer fan wise of him. Do you know what I mean? But okay, so you know we move on from that one. So we had Santana and Ortiz versus the FTR. Obviously formerly the Revival. Really good match for me. Really sad the way it ended. I actually watched that back again today, and where he smacks his arm, you can see his arm split straight away.
yeah.
Yeah. So the way that they called an audible on it, I thought that Wheeler done really well and kept it going. And we got to the end of the finish, brainbuster pin. Obviously, we had to, no problem with that at all. Really good match, enjoyed it, and you know it is what it is. Then we
That
had
was
the
smart. That was
yeah,
smart too, because
yeah,
of just how they actually sped it
yeah,
up and cleaned
yeah.
it up.
Just shows them, doesn't it, how professional he was to kind of get it, you know, get it over the line on his own and do it, which was really really good to see. So we had
Good man.
IWGP United States Championship match, Lance Archer versus Hikuleo. It was accompanied to the ring by King Haku, which was really nice to see Haku.
Yes.
You know, I thought I love hearing Haku stories, and I loved Haku when I was a kid. So it was really nice to see him. Solid match for me. Thought
I
it was a
think it
really good
was.
match.
I think it was cool. I mean, I don't care about that title, and now they're
No.
just promoting it all the time.
Mm.
So the forbidden door isn't forbidden anymore when people are walking through every week.
Yeah, I mean,
Um,
I do like that though. I like the fact that they've got a belt that's not theirs, that's going to be defended on multiple shows, because it just, for me, it gives a bit more reality about wrestling. Do you know what I mean? It's like, obviously we know it's predetermined and stuff, but you know, it's like different people from different arenas and stuff like that coming in and promotions and doing back forward. For me, it just gives a bit more, that little bit more legitimacy.
I want to know where Haku's son got that height from. He is tall, man.
Yeah, but Haku was quite tall, don't forget, because you look at him when he stands next to Hogan, he was always a big fella, wasn't he?
And Andre was his partner. So then again,
Yeah, that's it. All right, so then after that one, we had Thunder Rosa versus Julia Hart. Squash match, not more to say about that. I like Julia. I think she's got something about it, and I like the whole Varsity Blondes with her and all that. I think it's a really good mix. Thunder Rosa, for me, she could work it, but I'm just not about the hype that surrounds it.
I understand it. I like what I see because she's polished. Her and
Mm,
Deep so polished. And Britt, I think Britt too is another one that's polished. Britt, I think plays to the level of her competition.
yeah,
Um, so if she's facing Nyla Rose every week, it's not going to be that great, but it's better than Big Swole. Cedric
Yeah.
Alexander. Cedric Alexander has to teach us some things. But I think Thunder Rosa. I see what she does, and I'm like, wow. Like people would go gaga if a guy did this stuff that
Mm,
she's doing. Just
yeah.
athletic, awesome looking.
Yeah. Okay, so we moved on to the trio match. Christian Cage versus and Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy versus the Hardy Family Office. Was what it was. Got through it. We done it. I feel like Christian Cage, Luchasaurus, and Jungle Boy are just treading water at the moment. Obviously, they're trying to play on the Christian Cage Hardy, past that they've had together, the previous feuds, whatever. I'm not liking that. I feel like leave WWE in the past if that's what you're doing over in AEW. Build your own storylines, and I'm not a fan of that at all.
Wasn't Christian a better heel though?
Yeah.
And I'm telling you, if he turns on Jungle Boy saying, you know what, I'm done with you because I hate talking for you because somehow you don't have the genes of your father talking, you
Yeah.
know, if he turned heel, think of the credibility that company would get. I'm
Yeah.
serious.
Yeah. No, good. Okay, so we moved on to the finale, which was Jericho versus Nick Gage. Was what it, I keep saying this, was what it was, but it was a, a match that Nick Cage had been. I think I'm happy for him that he's got a bit of, you know, respect
Money.
and yeah, money and exposure. Probably, but it's probably worth more to him in exposure than what it is in actual what he's being paid to do it, because people will come and watch his own promotion and buy the pay-per-views online and whatever else it may be. For
I'm
Jericho,
giving,
sorry.
that's all right. I'll give 1 point to this. There was all this garbage going on. I hated it. But I will say this. Nick Gage did a wonderful pile driver.
Mm,
I was like, what? He did a pile driver. It looked great.
yeah.
But other than that, just,
I thought, yeah, what was the other movie done? Was it a
Falcon Arrow.
power bomb into onto his knee? Was it?
I think that was prior to that. Yeah. I don't know.
Where he
Was
done?
it?
I think it was a power bomb onto his knee, or was it a?
I remember a shitty looking, I'm sorry, a bad looking Falcon Arrow. I was like, what?
Yeah, yeah, and he walked around a lot. But I think, as I say, I think for Nick, it gave him a lot of exposure of what he probably hasn't had, and also capitalised on his appearance on Dark Side of the Ring. And for Jericho, I feel like it gave him a bit of credibility after that fall off the top of the cage onto the nice pillows below. I think like this kind of give him a bit more of an, bit of credit back.
Yeah, I don't think he had to do much working during this whole thing. When you think about it with Jericho, I mean, he was just like, "Here, let me get the bat." At least he didn't have to run, you know.
Yeah.
And so it was kind of this was the one of the least labors that MJF
Mm.
gave him. But
Do you feel
by the
like?
way,
Oh, sorry, go on.
no, okay.
So do you feel like Jericho's starting to wild down now, like he's going to retire? Because like, obviously we've seen the Le Champion, we've had the Painmaker. I feel like next week against Juventud we may see Lionheart Chris Jericho at some point. It'd be interesting to see if WWE let him use Y2J for the one match. I can see it happening. So, he's got a good thing there. And I feel like, I don't know why, but I feel like we're getting towards, he's going through the gimmicks that he's had and he's facing his foes from the past and whatever else that they're doing within this. And I feel like it's leading towards he's coming to the end.
Um, I would agree with you, but they've had this whole rivalry booked in reverse. The
Mm,
payoff match was the first match. You know what I'm
mm,
saying? Like Blood and
yeah, yeah.
Guts was like that was it, and then you had that crappy thing. Um, I like what you're saying, and I agree. I think that's good. He doesn't have to do much anymore. He's hanging out with the kids. You know,
Yeah, yeah,
he's doing what's cool. But if he could put his own spin on it, like that Painmaker thing that I didn't even realize it was a gimmick at the point. Apparently when you change
yeah,
your outfit, it's a gimmick. I didn't
yeah.
know that. Um, but yeah, I could see that. I heard it was a Lionheart thing too.
Hmm.
So I'm just hoping that he pulls out 1,004 holds. If he pulls out
Oh,
a list of 1,004, come on.
Yeah, yeah. But I do feel like we're getting towards the end with Jericho, and I feel like this may be his last big one. And he's come into AEW and he's done what he was there to do. He was there to come in, and he was there to help build them, build stars. Nobody can deny that Jericho's built some stars there, and he's helped out massively. And his biggest star that he's going to build towards the end is going to be MJF, and I feel like he's done a fantastic job in that as well. So as I say, I feel like if he does retire, then he's done it right all the way through.
I have some trivia for you though. What
Mm,
does Ric Flair and Nick Gage have in common?
pass.
They both have 4-star rating matches from Dave Meltzer.
God.
Dave Meltzer said that was a 4-star match, even though he didn't like it because it fit with the people.
Oh.
Never mind.
Yeah. Well, all in all, this AEW, obviously we move on from that now. We're starting to run out of time a bit, but really good show. 4 out of 5 for me. What you give it yourself, mate?
I'd probably give it 3, because I like where they're going with certain angles.
Yeah.
I think that they just postponed this whole FTR Proud and Powerful thing for way too long. But I love the way they work. I think that Christian should turn heel. I think that's actually what it's leaning towards. I think they need to get. I think they need to do something as far as separating Stu Grayson from Evil Uno and them. Even though they were Stu, look at Stu. If you watch him on Elevation and Dark, this guy's a monster.
Yeah.
I saw him take some of the Bear Country on his back, just walking around. I'm like, how is this guy not like an actual competitor? You did leave out one main thing. I love what Team Taz has become.
Sorry, yeah, I did miss that out. Yeah.
That's all right. I think I said it months and months ago, and then I saw, of course, Cornette piggyback off me. Not that he really did, but I said this guy Hobbs, he has that natural heel look, that smirk of I'm scheming and I'll kill you, you know. But look at Starks. Starks is is probably the best thing that they have there, and I think they realize that too. The fans did when at Fighter Fest when he faced Cage. You heard the fans going nuts for him. That's what you want, and you got to ride that wave.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Awesome. Okay, so we'll move on to SmackDown. So SmackDown opens with John Cena coming out, giving bits and bobs, doing his crowd. I don't know why we're back to this whole. The show has to open with a segment, but with it, and it's the way it is. Not bad from John, done what he does. And then Baron Corbin proceeded to interrupt. It's going on about how he got hit in the lower nether regions, and he couldn't perform, as well as the fact that he's got no money and his ID's being stolen. And then Cena dropped him with an attitude adjustment. So babyface John Cena dropped the man down on his luck with an attitude adjustment. Well, in Cena, but I'm really liking Corbin at the moment. I'm loving the way he's going with it. He's very desperate and stuff, and I'm excited to see where it goes with him.
I agree. It's really comical. Like I was trying to think of what it reminded me back in the day. It wasn't like, he doesn't have that heat of like Knuckleball Schwartz, but he's
Mm,
got something like when Backlund would come out
yeah.
and people would be like, "Oh, this freaking guy," you know. But yeah, I like the whole thing with Corbin. I think it's working out well for him. It took him how long to get something that people could hop on?
Yeah. All right, so after that we had Mysterio versus Uso. Same match as what we've seen um, every couple of weeks, recently. Good back and forward match and stuff like that. Apart from this time, Dominic helped Ray steal the pin, which doesn't bother me at all. Just feel like it's, they got their own back now, and we're just progressing this feud. Probably going to get a rematch on the kickoff show again at SummerSlam. They might even get to the main match, with it being a stadium match. I suppose they've got to fill it, haven't they? So that wouldn't surprise me if we see that on there. But all in all, it's done what it was meant to do. Good little match, and I'm not mad at the result.
Yeah, yeah. It is what it is. Like you said, it's just something lingering. I'm surprised Ray is still around. But I guess he's just waiting for Dominic to grab the reins as a single.
Yeah, I feel like Dominic will eventually get the Mysterio mask and stuff, and I feel like Ray's trying to cement his son's future. Not kayfabe wise. I mean, realistic,
Yeah.
real life. He's getting his son in there, and I like Dominic. I think he's done really well, and he's growing on the telly in front of us. He hasn't had none of the training or gone through the NXT roster, anything like that. But I'm impressed with him. Really good young man.
Wouldn't you love it if he turned on his dad and he said, "You're not my real dad"?
I'm going to do this for me dad, Eddie. That'd be brilliant, wouldn't it? Okay, so next we have Bianca Belair standing in the ring, coming out saying about her being champion for 100 days. She was actually over 100 days, but yeah, there we are. And then Carmella come out, said she'd had the hold of the title longer and she deserved the title shot. So she just lost twice in a row, but again, that's fine. Then Zelina Vega popped out and said she deserved the title match even more. And yeah, she hasn't really done much since she's come back to the main roster to deserve that title shot, but I suppose if you come out and ask for one, you're potentially going to get one.
Did you know
Sasha,
she dressed
sorry.
up? She dressed up like Malachi Black with the eye, apparently, right?
I didn't even notice that. I have to go back and have a
Right.
look at that.
Yeah, I thought that was
Cool.
cool.
Yeah. Okay, and then obviously the two of them started beating them up. Sasha Banks comes out with music hits. She comes out and makes the save, and then she's hugging with her new best mate, which I was kind of scratching my head about and kind of like, okay, well, you two just had a feud and then you haven't been seen. Now you come back and you're all matey with each other. But obviously, set up a match later on for a tag team match, Sasha and Bianca versus Selena and Carmella. So again, not mad at the section. No, got us where we needed to get to. Happy with that.
Yeah, that's like Warrior helping out Hogan again, and then just punching him in the face.
Mm. So next we had 24/7 champion Reggie versus champ Gable. I don't know when the 24/7 title become a match rather than just bits and bobs. Not mad at Reginald, or Reggie as he's now called. Obviously, WWE love to shorten names. You don't like anybody with double barrels unless you're already a star. Obviously, that's the reference to Matt Riddle, who's now Riddle, Shotzi Blackheart, who's now Shotzi, Tegan Knox, who's now just Knox. But yeah, it is what it is.
I think
Reggie,
it's for marketing. I think it's actually for marketing,
yeah,
which
oh
is
yeah,
terrible.
definitely.
It's terrible because they want to give an identity and then lose it.
Yeah, definitely. Now, for me, I don't mind Reggie in this spot. Reginald, I don't like calling him Reggie. I call him Reginald. I think he's very athletic. I like his little entrance. I think if that in front of a live crowd, that would be really woo. Do you know what I mean? To be honest, I can't really wait to see that. And I feel like the way that he's kind of flips and rolls and everything suits the 24/7 title. I feel like I don't know why, but on my notes that I make, 'cause I make a few notes on each show, and on my notes I put down, would love to see him and Ricochet in a match.
That'd be pretty cool.
Yeah, I just feel like them two would be pretty good in the match. But we'll have to wait and see. But I do feel like Reginald, there's something there with him. So we'll have to wait and see how he gets on.
I think the idea of a match though would be better than the actual match.
Yeah, potentially. Yeah, but it's you never know. Do you know what I mean? The two of them are really athletic and high flying. It could be an absolute barnstormer, couldn't it? For some reason, Reginald reminds me of Rico. He's got that kind of
Like
presence about him, hasn't he?
now you talk about Chuck and Billy Rico or a
Yes, yes.
3 minute warning Rico. Because remember, he kind of got more snotty when he went to 3 minute warning.
Yeah. So
But
just Rico as a whole, the whole way he presented himself and moved himself, I feel like he's just that whole Reginald. He's got that Rico thing, but well. Anyway, next one, contract signing for championship match at SummerSlam. I love Roman Reigns in this one. The thing with Roman Reigns at the moment is sometimes less is more. And I feel like I'm not really speaking and just sitting there, and some of the faces he pulls and the expressions and the little movements and the disgust on his face, and I love him. I think he's brilliant.
they finally did it.
Mm.
It took so long.
Yeah.
and he was the guy. Even another one that I said before, the pandemic. You go to your guns that you trust, and they trusted him, and that was the best thing of the pandemic. And
Yeah.
even at those light motions, it does make him emotional, like actually like a human being. But you're right. He knows that he has a mouthpiece. It's not like Omega that grabs the mic from Callis after Callis talks for so long. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't know
Mm.
why Omega has to get on the mic. Reigns says 6 words and they go over more than that guy.
Yeah.
And Heyman will just sit there and be the mouthpiece because he knows what he's doing. He loves
Yeah.
the business.
Yeah. Well, as you say, Roman can say so much with just a frown of his face or a look or a little turn of his head. It's brilliant. And as I say, I thought this was really good from him. The whole segment, though, in my eyes, was not the best. Didn't
No.
think it was great. Um, I'm not a stickler, but I'm a stickler for detail when it comes to stuff like this. I mean, wrestling in general, I feel like you're trying to make it sound like it's real. You're trying to make it credible. The stories have got to add up. Now,
Yeah.
obviously, I liked the Corbin bit. I really did. Where Corbin comes out to snatch the contract, and I like that because he's a desperate guy. He's trying to do this, but then Cena comes and picks up with it, and everyone cheers and all like that. Now, I don't know about you, man, but when you sign for your house and when you sign for a car and stuff like that, if you were about to sign your name on a paper for a contract, and I ran over and snatched it out of your hand and signed my name on it, does that mean I get your car?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Even though it's
All the
got your
paper.
printed name underneath it and
Yeah.
all,
And then my attorneys just go, well, he beat you to it.
yeah, and
Yeah,
again,
that's how it works.
I get what they're trying to do. I think it was the swerve, as we all knew was coming. I think Vince Russo would have been very proud of that one. Of you thought it was going to be Cena, then we threw Balor in the mix, and now we've gone back to Cena. No one's seen it come. Well, we did. I still think this is going to end up as a triple threat match somewhere along the line.
Yeah, I think so. Is it kind of like HBK inserting himself against Benoit and Triple H? Not so much, but I do think that you insert Cena into anything at this point in his career, it's going to be gold. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm serious.
and I feel like they don't. I don't know whether it's Cena taking the pin, but I don't know whether they might try and get the belt off Roman at this stage.
Yeah,
And give it to Balor, but get Cena to take the pin, or Balor's just there to take the pin. Be interesting to see which way they go. If the rumours are true and Roman's going into a feud with The Rock, for me personally, I feel like the belt shouldn't be on Roman, because I don't feel like that feud needs the belt.
it's
And I
not
feel like, and I think if it's got the belt, then we all know that Roman's going to win it.
right. It's not needed at all, but I don't see The Rock being a reason for him to lose the belt. I think something along the lines of, I don't know how you put it. That's why I'm not a booker there. But I do
Mm-hmm.
believe that, he could say something like, you know what, I could still beat anybody, including some of my old family members. And
Yeah,
then, when you have maximum capacity and this guy's music comes out, like you
yeah.
said, long-term booking, that could be a main event at
Or,
WrestleMania.
as you say, you could say, I might have lost my title, but I'm still head of this table. I'm still head of this family, and oh, are you really? And we're away to the races, aren't we? So simple as that. Yeah,
That's what that
simple
is.
as that. Or if you are going to have the championship, potentially The Rock could beat him, and then we go to the next WrestleMania in Hollywood, and Roman wins it back. You know, because let's face it, WWE don't always need the champion on telly, which is what's been proven with Brock Lesnar over the years. So we
Yep.
could get it. We could get a Rock win, I suppose. So who knows? Anyway, it's I'm very interested in how that's going to pan out leading up to Survivor Series, and if The Rock actually does come back. Because me personally, I'm not just saying this because I'm biased because I'm going to WrestleMania in LA, but I always thought that he would have kept The Rock for Hollywood. So whether they do or not, I don't know. Next match we have Big E, King Nakamura, and Dolph Ziggler. Sorry, Big E, Cesaro, and King Nakamura versus Dolph Ziggler, Bobby Roode, and Intercontinental Champion Apollo Crews. Was what it was. Filler match. No more, no less. Didn't
Exactly.
fit, didn't further anybody else.
Cesaro
Not a
needs a
bad little
title.
match, but
Cesaro needs a title desperately, though.
yeah, yeah, definitely. And I feel like he might be the one that'll go with Cruz out of that, maybe. Edge come out. awesome entrance as always from Edge. Music's on point, crowd pop on point, everything spot on. And then in the end, Rollins come out and attacked them, and yeah, that was about that really. We know we're going to get them to at SummerSlam. I'm not mad at that. I think it's going to be a really good match, and the fact that they're not putting them in matches already, or they do the tag team, and how are they going to coexist, or any of that stuff. I'm happy with that. So, what's your thoughts on it?
How I like that. How are they going to coexist? Well, they don't have to because nothing is on the line. Um, but yeah, if you have, it's going to be the match of the night. I promise you, that'll be the match of the night. Edge clearly knows how to work. He doesn't need to be involved in contrite angles like what happened at Mania. They screwed that up totally.
Yeah.
Even if Roman won that one-on-one, you still had a guy coming back from career-ending surgery, at some point, or was at a career-ending injury, and Daniel Bryan didn't need to be involved in that. You don't need elements with those two guys. I mean, Seth is dressing up like an obnoxious, dude, but Edge comes out, the guy knows how to work, and you don't need angles. I mean, he is the guy that does the concerto, but you just have purists there, guys with ability and know how to lay out a match. And that takes time. It's not just these flash in the pants. That will be the match of the night, match of SummerSlam. I guarantee that. I don't care what Meltzer says.
Yeah, that is what it is, isn't it? But okay, so we want to move on to the final match of the card, which was Bianca Belair, Sasha Banks versus Carmella and Serena Vega. Good, solid match, as you'd expect from them two. Belair defeated Carmella. Banks and Belair defeated Carmella, and then as they celebrated, Banks hit her with a backstabber.
Lariat, yeah.
Obviously set them up for what they're going to be feuding together. Again, not mad at it. I think it sets it up really nice. Happy that they're going to be feuding because I like the way that they feuded together, and hopefully we're going to see some real good match out of the two of them.
I think that Belair actually needs to shine a little bit. It's just been such a bad run. I don't like the way her whole thing is run. Her whole title run has been, But then again, having Zelina Vega, which I didn't really care about as a wrestler, come in there, they're just throwing people out at her,
Yeah.
So this is credibility.
Yeah. Okay. Well, for this one, it's for me, 3 out of 5. Solid. Progressed a few storylines and stuff like that, which is what we needed to do, and got us where we need to go for SummerSlam. With a lot of it, obviously, a few of it bits didn't make sense, but again, hopefully they will do as we go forward. Last bit of news, mate. Obviously, we're not going to spend too much time on this because don't really like to go too far over. Is Bray Wyatt leaving WWE? What's your thoughts on that?
It makes sense. I asked people, I said, do you know how much time, take away merchandise, even though that's the biggest thing, how much time and money they spent on Bray Wyatt over the years for developing characters, and then he'd be hurt, he'd be gone. He had to be some sort of empty pocket where just money kept falling through. I take a look at him and I see so much potential. The guy's not a wizard in the ring. Was he able to get the best out of matches of people? Sure. And he drew heat. But there was times like the smoke and mirrors that they did when they first started with Randy, with that whole the bugs in the ring, and come on. Once they got theatrical, that's when you knew it's like this is all just for show, and this is all just for market and level,
Yeah.
shirts.
I think that he's just lost a really big creative mind. I feel like I don't know what goes on backstage, but you can see that some of it's his own doing, and then some of it maybe is they've kind of stifled him in ways, or they've pushed him in certain ways, and I don't know what's going on behind the scenes. From what it was, Sean Ross Sapp said on Fightful on his Patreon, it was saying that it was down to budget cuts because Bray Wyatt was on a big wage, pretty similar to Braun Strowman's release. But to me, I think like it's going to be a big loss for WWE, and I'm really excited to see if he turns up in AEW, because I feel like not just for his own stuff, but for other people's, he'd be really, really beneficial to them at the moment and help them creatively to kind of push on a little bit more.
He would be the guy for Dark Order. Just saying.
Oh, yeah, well, 110%, isn't it? You know, imagine him coming in, and, you know, you could even have Brody's son turn around and say, well, you know, my uncle's coming in, or something like that along the way. But it's just it's a storyline that writes itself, isn't it, really?
Yeah, I think it's going to be somebody else's game, because I like the guy personally, but I understand why they had to get rid of him. I didn't like this though. A lot of people are saying how Alexa Bliss is to blame because
Yeah,
she took the gimmick over. No, she's dealt the no. She's when you're
yeah,
at a job, you do what they ask you to do. I'm
yeah.
sorry.
No, I'm the same as you, mate. I feel like it's a bit unfair to push that onto her, and you know, I don't think that's fair one bit. Okay, mate. Well, we're going to wrap it up there. So thanks everyone for watching. Please do leave a like on this video, subscribe, and also give us your comments in the comment section on what you thought of the week's wrestling. You know, and obviously we'll write back in the comments and stuff like that. But please do like, share the video, and subscribe to the channel for more. Me and Pantera hopefully will be back next week with some more news for you. And also look out on the channel for some more interviews, and also another couple of videos on top fives and stuff like that. Trying to give you some real diverse content on the channel, and we've got a few more guys that are going to be joining us on the channel. But thank you, Pantera, for coming on with me, mate. Really, really appreciate it, and you know, hopefully we can do it again next week and keep on having our good discussions on wrestling.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me. I look forward to actually continuing.